Nosferatu is directed by Robert Eggers and stars Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, Willem Dafoe, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Emma Corrin, Ralph Ineson, and Bill Skarsgård as the titular vampire. This is a remake of F.W. Murnau's classic silent-era film Nosferatu from 1922, which is an adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, just with different character names. Robert Eggers' new iteration is not the only remake of the classic 1922 film, however. Werner Herzog did a film called Nosferatu the Vampire in 1979, which actually uses the accurate names from Bram Stoker's novel. And then there's David Lee Fisher's Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, that released in 2023, which is actually a Kickstarter film. Now, I watched all three of these Nosferatu films in order to prepare myself for Robert Eggers' remake. And I think after seeing all four of them, Robert Eggers is the best by far. And yes, that even includes the original. When it comes to Murnau's classic, yes, it does have some iconic shots. Yes, it's well made, and the look of Count Orlok is fantastic. It still holds up very well. The cinematography is great, and there is a sense of eeriness to it. However, when compared to films of today, it really just doesn't hold up. And I think the story, like many other of the era, lacks a lot of detail, and so it's hard to really get invested into the characters and plot. The film is unfortunately rather boring and not at all really scary. The same can be said of Werner Herzog's film, and while it does make up for a little bit of script detail, it still is very boring, and I think the performances really lacked in his remake. They're all German performers, and I saw the English version. Now, I've heard the German version is the superior one since they're using their native language, but something was lost in translation with the English, and it just made the performances feel rather wooden and lifeless. I couldn't get into the story, even though it was a bit better, but the ending was very different, which I appreciated to an extent, but it was still a little eh. As for David Lee Fisher's remake, it's a Kickstarter film, so it's obviously kind of amateur. The acting, overall look and presentation isn't the best. I will say it had the most detail script-wise out of the other Nosferatu iterations, so I did appreciate that. However, it really lacked in the acting department, the visual department, just pacing and everything. It's more so a film I admire in how it was made and presented rather than in execution. As for Robert Eggers' film, this is everything I wanted a Nosferatu film to be. It's dark, it's mysterious, it's haunting, it's actually quite scary, and it's very gothic. The production design pulls you in from the beginning. There is such detail to every shot and every set used in this film. The architecture looks amazing, the bustling city feels immersive, and all of these elements really wrap you up into the story. You feel like you're entering the darkness. The performances are all outstanding. Lily Rose Depp, definitely the highlight. What she does here and what's required of her is tremendous, in all honesty. She is very physical in her performance and very hysterical. You know, there's a lot of emotions in her performance, and it's a sight to behold because she's amazing throughout. And there are a lot of different angles and a lot of different emotions she has to constantly go back and forth with, and the convulsions and just the physicality to her performance. It was very impressive. Nicholas Hoult is also really good. I loved here that it was something that was missing from the other Nosferatu films. There's an immediate sense of unease and terror when he sets foot in Orlok's castle. And this film does a fantastic job at making it clear that when Thomas enters Orlok's castle, he is no longer in control. Orlok is the one controlling him. And yet there's nothing he can do. And Nicholas Hoult performs this just in a tremendous way, where without saying much, you can feel how terrified he is. And it also goes to show just how brilliant Bill Skarsgård's transformation into Count Orlok is. Reading about how Bill Skarsgård prepared for this role is simply amazing. Working with a vocal coach for months, perfecting that deep, guttural tenor that he uses here. It was just amazing, incredible. This iteration of Count Orlok, first of all, looks amazing. The prosthetics and makeup are incredible. Love the mustache. You know, apparently that's accurate, and we know Eggers loves historical accuracy. But Bill Skarsgård's performance is just amazing. He's so tall, and he really towers, and it portrays that sense of unease and power that Orlok has over these characters. And the way he talks, those incredible rolling R's, the cadence at which he speaks, it all adds to the immense unsettling nature of this character, and it worked amazingly for this movie. But everyone is really good in the movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Emma Corrin play small supporting roles, yet they really leave an impression. They're a little bit of humanity that helps understand the perspectives of their characters and their towns, especially with their relationship with Thomas and Ellen. I heard many saying that Aaron Taylor Johnson was like in his own movie or in a completely different film. I didn't feel that way. I felt like he worked for the character he was going for, the skeptic, and I didn't see anything wrong with that. Willem Dafoe is very good in here as well. I always love Willem Dafoe playing an eclectic of sorts, and he's having a lot of fun here. And Ralph Ineson is also fantastic. I feel like this was a role that worked so well for him, and I mean, his voice is just amazing. I also must mention Simon McBurney, who played Ernok. I thought he gave the best portrayal of Ernok that I've seen so far. The score and sound design of this film are also A-class. They do such a great job at immersing you and creating such an enveloping atmosphere. It's almost suffocating at times. You can't look away from the screen, even though I wanted to, because there are some genuine scares here. Whereas the other Nosferatu films are not very scary, this one really went for, a punch with the terror. There are some jump scares, but I don't think they're used ineffectively. But it's mainly through that use of immersive atmosphere and dark, unsettling pacing that really brings everything together. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this, the visuals are amazing. Production and set design, incredible. Costumes are great. The cinematography is inventive, and I love the use of long takes and some experimental uses of editing as well. I found the lighting to be very effective. The dark nighttime sequences are very dark, but they really work. They don't ever feel like they're too dark, even when you're having trouble like seeing. It all makes sense for within this world. And I don't know if it was a purposeful creative decision, but it almost felt like Eggers was using some natural lighting in certain sequences too, which was very cool. The film is perfectly paced and never feels drawn out or overlong. It knows exactly what it's doing with its characters and building them up and tearing them down. I think this is the best script of all the Nosferatu films I've seen thus far. It has the most detail in terms of characters and character relationships. You really get to know these characters, you really get to feel for them, and you feel the weight of all the emotional intensity happening amongst everyone. And Eggers has such a control over all of this. His directorial hand is so precise and detailed, from the way the actors speak their dialogue, or the way a camera moves, or the use of a certain prop. Everything is meticulously planned, and I love how it all works. If there's anything I had to complain about script-wise, I do wish we got a little bit more concerning the relationship between Ellen and Orlok. We do get the most out of any Nosferatu film thus far in terms of her history with mania and melancholy and all that stuff. But I still do wish maybe we got one more scene when she was younger, because what we ultimately find out is fascinating, and it really answers a lot of the questions I had from previous films, like why is Orlok so obsessed with Ellen? Why does he need to come to this city? Why can't he find a girl from another city? Stuff like that I feel like was answered effectively in this one where it wasn't in others. And then along with that, I do kind of wish we had a little bit more in terms of the Renfield character, Ernok, and Orlok as well. And maybe it's just a source material thing. I haven't read Dracula, nor have I seen the original Dracula film. So I don't know if it's just, if they're lifelong friends or if Knock has been called to help Orlok for whatever reason. But I would have liked a bit more of an understanding between them. As for other issues, I didn't entirely understand the use of the naked virgin for the ritual that the gypsies were performing. It's probably all visual and atmospheric, but I was just like, why she got me naked? Is there a point for that? The other thing is something that has troubled me in all of the Nosferatu films, and it's how Thomas is able to get back to Visburg on land, which in this movie is apparently like a 6-week journey from Transylvania back to Visburg. Whereas Orlok, you know, he hops on a boat and they get there at the same time. Maybe it's a minor complaint. Maybe I don't understand, you know, travel length, but I don't know. It's a little detail that kind of bothered me. I also wish that Robert Eggers had recreated the iconic shot of Nosferatu on the boat. I think that was a missed opportunity. Overall though, Nosferatu was an incredible film, and had I not seen this so late, it definitely would have been on my top 10 of 2024 video. This was just engrossing from beginning to end. The performances are outstanding. The film looks terrific in terms of just production scale and value, but also cinematography and lighting. The immense detail in not only the visuals, but the script is so immersive, and the score, sound, everything comes together to create such a visceral, impactful, powerful, scary experience. This is one I definitely have to check out again at some point. I don't know when I will, but I can't praise it enough, really. It was much more frightening than anticipated too. You know, after seeing 3 Nosferatu films that weren't scary at all, to be frank, this one really surprised me in how unsettling and eerie and actually like heart-pounding it was. This is, the more I think on it, Eggers' best film, and perhaps a rewatch down the road will confirm that, but I mean, he hasn't made a bad movie. He hasn't made a bad movie thus far, and I don't think he will. I love what he's doing as a filmmaker, and honestly, if he stays on this historical period piece route, then I'm all for it. I can't wait to see what he does next. But yeah, I mean, Nosferatu, this was great. So please, guys, let me know, have you seen Nosferatu? Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't like it, I don't have to tell you, you know, we're gonna completely disagree here. Let me know where this would rank in terms of Robert Eggers' filmography, and let me know if you prefer one of the other Nosferatu films to this. I personally thought this one was the best by far, but I know a lot of people still prefer the original. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Lego channel if you'd like to as well, and I will see you guys in the next movie review.